Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I'm coming to you with my February 2024 TBR. Say it with me, everybody. It's TBR time! Yay! I almost forgot it. So I'm super excited about this. Now, if you couldn't tell from the thumbnail, a couple of these books are not categories. So I talk about this very briefly in my Serious About Series video that went up on Sunday. But I know eventually at some point I'm going to get burned out of the category romances because this is the year of the category romance. But what I've decided to do is, I'm hoping to do a half and half, like half of what I read be category and half of what I read be non-category. That way I don't completely burn myself out for what it is that I'm reading. So I am super excited. I have a ridiculous amount of books on my list. So I'm going to go through these. I'm not going to go through what all of them are really about, but I am going to share them with you guys. I will leave the full list below. So if any of the covers jump out at you and you're like, oh, I want to hear more about that book, then feel free to go and have a look. So again, as I always do, I break these into categories, you know, like different things. So the first is, again, it's the year of the category romance. So my goal is to try and read one book from every category, from every Harlequin series or imprint published. And there are 10 of them now every month. So to read one from each and, you know, to be able to kind of review them for you guys. And they're a new release. So these are all the ones that just came out in February. So if you watched on Saturday, Steve and I did a live show. Steve Donahue and I did a live show showing off all the new February releases from Harlequin. So these books were briefly mentioned, but these were my picks, you know, like that after looking at everything, these are the ones that I most want to read from each line. So starting with the heartwarming line, we have The Cowboy's Second Chance by Cheryl Harper. This is the third book in the Fortunes of Prospect series. So yes, I love this. The next one is a historical novel, and we have A Duke for the Penniless Widow by Christine Merrill. This is book 2 in the Irresistible Dukes series. And as you guys well know, in terms of category romance or romance, just in general, I'll read all the series out of order. It does not bother me. Even though I did put together a big sass list that I'm going to be reading in order, I'm still fine reading out of order. Next up, we have an intrigue novel, and I'm so excited. A Stalker's Prey by Katie Richards. This is the eighth book in the West Investigation series. I love this series so much. If you like a good romantic suspense, please go pick up one of these books. They are fabulous. I'm super excited about the next one because this is this author's medical debut. And this is ER Doc's Las Vegas Reunion by Denise N. Wheatley. She normally writes for the intrigue line, but like I said, this is her first medical. And I'm so happy for her and I'm so excited and I cannot wait to read this book. Next up, we have a presents novel, and this is An Innocent's Deal with the Devil by Tara Pammy. This is the third book in the $1 Billion Fairy Tales series. Oh, the cover on this one is so nice. So nice. I absolutely love it. Next, we have a Harlequin romance novel, and this is Their Fairy Tale India Escape by Ruby Basu. This is the third book in the If the Fairy Tale Fits series. So this is an interconnected series. I believe all 4 of the books in the romance line coming out this month are part of this fairy tale collection, and they're all a different fairy tale. I think one is Beauty and the Beast, one is Cinderella, one is The Little Mermaid, and then this one is actually Rapunzel, which is very exciting. So I am looking forward to this one. Next up, we have a romantic suspense novel, and that is Lethal Encounter by Jennifer D. Bockel. This is the third book in the Texas Law series, so I'm looking forward to this one. The special edition novel for the month. Oh, I love McKenna Lee, and as soon as I saw it was a McKenna Lee book, I'm like, yes, it must be this one. The Rancher's Love Song, and this is the first book in the Women of Dalton Ridge series. I adore the cover on this. I mentioned this in the live show. These new covers are slowly starting to grow on me. The more that I'm seeing them, the more I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing here, and I'm not hating it. There are some instances where the Photoshop is not the best, but overall, the design is growing on me. Let's put it that way. This one, though, is stunning. Absolutely stunning. Next up, we have a love-inspired novel. And of course, I had to pick this one because it is February. And I don't know why Harlequin doesn't lean more into the fact that it is February, the month of love, and have more Valentine-themed romances. But this is A Valentine's Day Return by Brenda Minton. This is book 2 in the Sunset Ridge series. I love the cover of this one. It just is so cheerful. Just exactly what you need in the cold month of February. And lastly is the love-inspired suspense novel. And this is going to be Silencing the Witness by Laura Conaway. And this is a standalone. I love the cover of this. That bird looks so menacing. So I am very much looking forward to getting to all of those, hopefully. Next up, we have my backlist for Harlequin, or category romance. Now, this is the Retro Romance Readathon month. And Storm over at Storm Reads and I, linked to her channel below, are co-hosting this. And we are doing teams. And she is Team Order and I am Team Chaos, meaning to read series out of order. When I grabbed all the books that I decided to pick to read for the Retro Romance Readathon, they're all standalones, and one's the first book in series. So, I'm not even adhering to my own rules. But if you are Team Chaos, I am still leading Team Chaos. I am carrying the banner for Team Chaos. So if that's what you want, I am with you. Read all the series out of order. It just so happens these are the ones that I most wanted to read right now, and I'm looking forward to them. So the first one, though, is not a Retro Romance Readathon book, and we have Vermont Valentine by Kristen Hardy. Again, Valentine's Day. I had to read a Valentine's Day romance in February. It's a thing. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. So, Valentine's Day books in February. All the Valentine's Day books in February. And all of these I have in print book format. I've got an old Nora Roberts here. I am so excited. This is Night Moves by Nora Roberts. This is from 1985. So for retro romance, it's anything older than 1994. Not to make you all feel. 1994? 2004. Good Lord. Anything earlier than 2004. So 20 years. 85 definitely fits the bill. But this is an old intrigue. It's number 19 in the intrigue line. So yeah, great cover on that one too. Next we have one of my favorites, and this has been on my TBR a few times. I am going to get to it this month. Hands down, my favorite cover of all time for every Harlequin romance I've ever seen. And this is The Willful Lady by Eva Rutland. Look at that, you guys. I've said it before. I want this as a print on my wall. I would love to, I'll never find the original artwork, but I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, how great would that be in a book room? Like the entire, you know what I mean? I think that would be lovely. But yeah, he was no match for her, or so she had thought. It's the parrot, oh my, and it's her laughter. Like, just look at that gorgeous, and we don't get covers like this anymore, you guys. We don't get these beautiful commissioned artwork. I wonder if the artist is listed. Pardon me while I quickly check. March of 1991. Nope, not even listed. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Next up, we have an American romance. This is number 11 in the American romance line. This is City Life, City Love by Beverly Summers. I really like the cover on this one too. Would she be swept away by city life, city love? She's divorced and a clean start and to stake her claim in the Big Apple. Interesting. So this came out in 1983. So this one definitely fits the bill. And last but not least is one that I've talked about already. I tried to read this. I started this one in December, decided to put it down, and decided to read it for this month. And that is The Proposition by Kate Bridges. This is the first book in the Northwest Mounted Police series. This came out in 2004, so it just gets under the line for retro. And it's a historical set in the Canadian West. So yeah, what's not to love about that? Next up I have, the final 10 books, these ones are all available on audio. So the 5 books I have are just 5 books that I really want to read that are non-category. And then the other 5 are books from my series about series list. So I'll go through the 5 that are non-SAS, the un-SAS books. The first one, this has been sitting on my shelf and I can grab it on audio. The Couple's Trip by Ulf Kessler, winner. I'm even wearing my glasses. Winner of the Swedish Academy of Crime Writers Award Best Debut of the Year, shortlisted for the Crime Time Award in 2022. Two couples set out together on a hiking trip that goes terrifyingly wrong in this addictive psychological thriller. I'm just in the mood. Like, this is what I mean. Category romance is great. Don't get me wrong, and I love them. But I made this joke the other day saying, I'm going to need a grisly something, murder book. And this, I think, is going to fit the bill. Yeah. I bought this at Walmart. It's been sitting on my shelf. But again, any of these books that I'm showing you that are non-category, I also have copies of them on audio. If not only an audio copy. There's a couple that I actually only have audio copies for, and I'll explain when I get to them. But yeah, so they're the books I can listen to on my commute back and forth to work. And if I want to, when I get home, for the ones that I have actual copies of, either digitally or physically, I can sit down and read as well. The next one, I bought this one not long ago either. I love the cover of it. This is so not my jam. You guys are going to look at this and go, I'm pretty sure it's labeled as a horror novel. But we have A Haunting in the Arctic by C.J. Cook. For over a century, something has craved revenge. I don't want to read too much about this one for you guys, but it's a dual timeline book. 1901. On board the Ormen, a whaling ship battling through the unforgiving North Sea, a woman awakens. Attacked and dragged there against her will, it's just her and the crew. And they're all owed something only she can give them. 1973. Decades later, when the ship is found still drifting across the ocean, it's deserted. Just one body is left on board, his face and feet mutilated, his cabin locked from the inside. Everyone else has vanished. Not generally my cup of tea, right? But I'm trying to expand my reading horizons, and this looks cold. Like, by that, I mean, I feel like it's going to be very atmospheric and it's the North Sea. There's glaciers? There's not glaciers there. What hit the Titanic? Icebergs. There are icebergs there. I just feel like this is going to be like a very cold atmospheric book that I just feel might work for February. The coldest month of the year. And again, I also have this one on audio, so that's going to be great as well. The next one I have is one that I wanted to read for so long, and I was flipping through and I found it at the library available on audio, and I went, yes, please. And that is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. This came out a couple of years ago. This is like a retelling of Jane Eyre, Rebecca, that whole kind of, another gothic-y type book. Again, a book that I feel is going to work well for the month of February. I'm looking forward to it. And the final two in this other novels section, as I'm calling it, are both books that I have pre-ordered from Audible. I had a bunch of credits to use, and I ran across both these, and I thought, okay. The first one is Canadian Boyfriend by Jenny Holiday. So Jenny Holiday is a Canadian writer, and I have heard mixed things about this book. Some people enjoyed it. Unfortunately, from what I understand, a lot of people did not. I think it actually hit somebody's worst book of the year that they read, because this was out for, this just came out, or is just coming out now at the end of January. But I think a lot of people had advanced copies of it, of course, towards the end of 2023. The reason I decided to do this is, I kind of really love the title. I love the fact that it's Canadian Boyfriend. But it was when I saw who narrated the book, I went, yes, please. This is a dual narration, so it's a male-female narration. I have no idea what the woman's name is who narrates it, but the guy who narrates it, ladies, hold on to your hats, and gentlemen, hold on to your hats. Joshua Jackson. Yes, that Joshua Jackson, the one from Dawson's Creek. He narrates this, and he's Canadian. That's what made me hit go to get this on audio. I liked Pacey way more than Dawson. Or it was Pacey, right? Yeah, I liked him so. What was her name? I am drawing a blank now. So Dawson, Joey was the girl. Yeah, so it was Pacey. I can't remember what Michelle Williams' character's name was. Doesn't matter. But I adored Pacey. So anyway, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that one. And the last one, I saw this one in a coming soon, back last summer. And immediately I put it on my want to read radar. And I went ahead and pre-ordered the audiobook because I know, I could go ahead and pre-order the book, but I thought, I know chances are I'm going to end up listening to it on audio anyway, so I might as well just go there. And that's The Women by Kristen Hanna. This is her newest one, and it is about, I don't know the whole thing, it's a historical fiction, and it's about women during the Vietnam War. And I love her books. I'm not a huge fan of her contemporary, like Firefly Lane. I didn't care for that. But her stuff like Winter Garden and The Four Winds, amazing, amazing books. They were 5-star reads for me. So I haven't gotten into all of her backlist. I want to read The Great Alone, and there's a couple others. But this one, I mean, the Vietnam, I can't wait to read this one. And I'm, again, pre-ordered it on audio. Cannot wait till it comes out. It comes out the first week of February, I believe. And last but not least, my SAS list for 2020, or for February of 2023, for 2024. I did a whole video on the books I picked for my series about series list, and I spun the wheel, and these are the 5 books that I got. So book number 1 is The Family You Make by Jill Shalvis. This is the first book in the Sunrise Cove series. I am very much looking forward to this one. Again, takes place in winter. I had the pleasure of interviewing Jill Shalvis just as this book was being released. She was promoting this book at the time. And I believe it's this one. I'm almost certain it's this one. The opening scene, our meet cute is our 2 main characters getting stuck together on a skiing gondola, like one that would take you up the mountain to go skiing. Yeah, they get stuck together and they think they're going to die, and like they're calling their families. It's one of those, we can laugh about it now. But yeah, I've been meaning to get to this one for years, literal years. And finally I'm going to get to it. The next one is the first in the Miss Marple series, and that is Miss Marple, The Complete Short Stories by, of course, Agatha Christie. So I do have this one on audio as well as having a physical copy of it. I love these editions of the Miss Marple books. I want to collect all of them so I can have them all on my shelf. There's not a lot other than category books that I want on my shelves, but these are just stunning. And I do really like the Miss Marple books. The writing style is definitely different to what we're used to today, the way they talk. And you know, and I think that's why some people do struggle with classics as well, is because the writing and the speaking and what have you is so different from our own modern day way that we speak and writers write. But it does take a bit getting used to, but I think it's well worth it because these are good stories. So yeah, this is unofficially the first book. After this comes Murder at the Vicarage. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Next up, we have Hidden by Laura Griffin, which is the first book in the Texas Murder Files series. This is a police procedural series. I don't know much about it. I did have an e-arc of this book, and I think I read about half of it, and I can't tell you what it was about. So I'm looking forward to diving back into it now. Next up is a book that I did not totally love, but this is going to work so well because, spoiler alert, this is the first book that I'm starting February with. And this is Death by Coffee by Alex Erickson. The first book in the Bookstore Cafe Mystery series. Now, I have read this book before, got about halfway through, didn't love it. But in the Killing Time with Cozy's group, this Sunday coming, so the 4th of February, the prompt for Scavenger Hunt is a series that you didn't love, to give it another chance. So it's perfect that I'm going to be reading this book. Let's give this one another chance, see what I think, and see if I want to absolutely continue on, or whether or not I'm just going to finally say, this series is not for me. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And last but not least, we have Out of the Storm by B.J. Daniels, which is the first book in the Buckhorn, Montana series. So yeah, I am looking forward to that one. It is going to be a romantic suspense novel featuring cowboys. It's B.J. Daniels. She's delightful. What's not to love? So that's it. I'm probably no throwback books this month. Honestly, I think I'm going to try and get used to this new, trying to, with what I'm going to be reading, like having one category and one non-category going at the same time. But do let me know in the comments below, have you read any of the books that I've talked about? What did you think about them? And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.